The Story of Echnaton. I was born as a son of King Imhotep III and Queen T, the beautiful one. Queen T came from the land of Kem, nowadays called Ethiopia, the people of black. So I was a mixture. I had very black figures, outlines in my face, and I had a very long face. My body was like the bodies of the men in the land of Kem, lean, supple, and very long, with long skulls. I was considered to be a special child from my birth on, and after my 3rd year I was brought to the land of my mother to receive the initiation of priesthood, because in the land of my mother's, the matriarchal lineage of the priests of old Lemuria were there. They had kept the old knowledge. Although I don't know that much from my early years, I remember that my parents were a bit worried about me. They wanted to protect me from possible murder, because in that days the power and influence of the priest and the general in Egypt was growing, and there was a lot of scheming. My father was very influential, very powerful. He built an enormous empire, and under his time the Egyptian empire was at its greatest. But at the same time there were dark forces doing their work, dark forces growing, and we knew about it. This was one of the reasons why I was kept in hiding for the time to come when I could take the throne. That day came when I was on my 17th to my 18th year. I got the message that the health of my father was declining and I had to take his side. So I came back to Egypt, full of the knowledge and the wisdom of the old ancients. They had taught me the power of the spirit, the power of the soul and the heart. But eigenwijs as I was, I wanted to do my own way. I'd always been an exceptional one, in that I followed my own wisdom. That's what they had taught me, and that's what I practiced in my life. So when I came to the side of my father, and seeing the enormous structure of oppression, the structure of priesthood, of religious fanaticism, I wanted to change all that, not knowing what I would cause. My intention was good, but I also learned during my life that you cannot force people to open their hearts or to reject oppression. Everyone chooses their own destiny, as I did too. Nefertiti was as young as she was beautiful. Also a mixture from another land, from another tribe, another culture. We fell deeply in love, and our connection was predestined. We had ideas of how we could change our society and build a new city on the banks of Talamarna. A city that was based on love and of family life. As my father had built an empire that was strong, religious and military strong, we wanted to bring back the heart for Egypt. For a brief period of time, we were able to do that, and the land flourished as never before. There was so much beauty, so much wealth, so much joy, and the evenings we have seen under the sun of Aton were incredible. There was a power in this fragile moment of time where joy was abundant. But the dark forces that had grown during my father's empire were becoming stronger and stronger. And although we did our best to preserve what we had, it wasn't long before the dark forces took over. They took back power. And I must say, we couldn't hold the love between us. Nefertiti and I grew apart. She couldn't stand my fanaticism, my righteousness of the heart. She liked more the beauty, the wealth, and the power, while I was more strict due to my opleiding to keep it simple, to keep it severe. So what happened in the end, she fell in love with a general, and that made us grow apart. At the end she had her own place, her own palace, and she sought connection with the priesthood and the generals of old Thebes. Of course, this was very hurtful to me, very, very painful, and I withdrew. I couldn't stay in my solar energy, At the end of her life, when she saw what she had caused, she had a regret. But the things were set in motion already and couldn't be changed back. So what happened was that the priests and the generals took over power. And they took our son, which was under the influence of his mother, Tutankhaton, and he became Tutankhamon again. He was a puppet in the hands of the priests. It wasn't long before his life ended, mysteriously, but it seems clear that they had their hands in it. I retreated more and more with a group of people around me. We moved up north and we sought for a place in the desert. That's where we stayed for a long time. We were in contact with the Jewish community and with the man that you call Moses. I knew him from the court, from the royal court, where he had his place. He was younger than me while growing up. He came for advice. When he was young, while I was already an older man. He sought to learn the practice of magic, and I taught him as I was taught, because I could see that the power in him was strong for leadership. I had hoped that he would become the new Moses, the new leader for our people, but instead he chose his role for the people he came from the Hebrew tribe. And in his years he led his people out of Egypt under the reign of Pharaoh Horemheb, or the son of Pharaoh Horemheb. I have most grievance, most pain for my daughters, who had to become princesses in a new reign. They were longing for my presence as I was longing for theirs. I can see still the beautiful years in the summer palace on the bank of the Nile, where we had such an incredible, beautiful life together. It was a life of beauty and abundance, and I think that is still what I'm longing for. The simpleness of life as we had it, and the joy of all our people. It is gone now into the eons as memories, but they're still very vivid in my heart. When my end came, I traveled to the pyramids, knowing that my story would end soon. I didn't want to be buried. They made a boat for me, a boat where they could put my body on and burn it. As I was sailing into the sea, the Mediterranean Sea, I was laid on a boat on the Nile. Sailing towards the sea as I was sailing towards eternity. Echnaton was shining over me from the morning till the night, as I was burning up in flames, thus staying forever on earth in my soul identity. Afterwards they have tried to erase the memory of our time. They changed history, and the leadership of Egypt became much more military, oppressing, and ruling from the mind and the power. The religion as we knew it from the old times was gone. Slowly the magic faded, and nobody knew of the old ways of the ancients. Still, it is always kept in some region of the heart, the memory of this time. And there will come a time when people remember it again, when they will tell our story complete and full, with all the beauty and the human pain that it involved. That time is your time, and it is your story. So make it known, so people know the truth of our lives. But more than that, they remember the truth in their hearts, that it's not from power, but from true love, that everything will come into existence. Power is the energy of death. Love is the energy of life. Everyone on planet Earth has to make a choice between these two. What do you choose?